cracking? It's Joey from Imes, and we're back in the shop. We got a little bit of a different video today. It's gonna be the first 5 must-have upgrades on like a brand new Harley. If you're a first-time Harley owner or first-time bike owner and it happens to be a Harley, there's gonna be a couple things that you're gonna notice as soon as you leave the lot that you're gonna wanna change. The first thing I would recommend is a crash bar. Whether you're a brand new rider or you've been riding for years, the first thing you want to do is protect that investment. Whether it's a used bike that you bought outright or you're financing it, either way, money's money. You're gonna want to protect it. So I've always preferred like the classic hoop style crash bars, like our OG. But if you're like a stunt guy, or you know you're gonna kind of maybe fumble here and there if you're newer, you might want to go with something like a 2.0, like our 2.0 crash bar with the replaceable Delrin ends. Once you've got it at least semi-protected with a front crash bar, we also have rear crash bar options. So the second thing is going to be the seat. After you've gotten your bike protected with a crash bar of some sort, you're going to want to get way more comfortable in the saddle. The stock seat is usually solo seat only on most models, so you're going to want a 2-up if you have a wife or a girlfriend, and if you don't, you're at least going to want something that locks you in. There's a couple options. Saddlemen, LaPera, they have some solo, some 2-up, like step-up options with at least some sort of a wall to catch your lumbar. All right, the third thing is gonna be the bars. Like I said, in my opinion, I would wanna get myself in a comfortable seat position that I'm gonna wanna have for quite some time, being that seats are $300, $400, $500, sometimes higher. For hand position, I like to keep the hands just slightly below shoulder height. A lot of guys get information from friends and everybody tells them like, oh, you need 14-inch T-bars, or you need this or you need that to have this look that you're going for, or this ride that you're looking for. But honestly, everybody's different. I'm way too short to run something like a 14-inch T-bar if I want to ride over 100 miles in a day. Your fingertips, at least for me, usually start to go numb from lack of blood flow to your hands. And then depending on if you're doing wheelies or any kind of performance or extreme riding on there, you're gonna probably even go a little bit lower. Like I'd run a 10-inch, which is a little lower than I would ride for just purely comfort. For me, I would run probably about a 12. But you're gonna wanna at least have somebody test fit or hold them up to your bike at the shop that you go to and check heights and make sure you're at a comfortable hand position, so you can ride like that all day without fingertips tingling or any of that. Fourth thing, moving on from the handlebars, there's one thing you're gonna notice once you switch from usually a lower factory position where you're kind of leaning into the wind. Once you move to maybe a T-bar or even ape hanger position where you're up with your hands, you'll notice that you start to catch a lot more wind on your chest. So a lot of dudes will opt for at least a small fairing. That's like a Harley quarter fairing or a T-Sport. Some dudes will even run the Road Warrior. There's so many options. You can go as big as a FXRT fairing. So you have a lot of options on how to get that wind to break around you a little bit. Obviously, the smaller the fairing, the less it really does for you. I personally run a Imes T-Sport with the 14-inch recurve wind. It's not a huge wind buffer, but it does make a bit of a difference, especially being in that T-bar stance all day. Once you're breaking the wind off your chest and face a little bit with the fairing, or maybe you opt not for a fairing, I would definitely recommend pegs as the 5th thing right off the bat. There's a couple other things you could add, headlights, saddlebags, but those are all more so, they vary between persons. Some people will keep those stock items on or off forever, but pegs are kind of a must. The stock factory pegs are usually rubber coated and they don't grip your shoes very well. They'd be great if you were barefoot probably, but yeah, you're definitely gonna want something more of like a moto peg style, or if you don't care for the metal cleats, there's a couple people with maybe like knurled patterns, just something with a little bit of a tread. So there's a few billet options that are definitely an improvement from stock setup. I would recommend like some flows or Ribafinis. There's a few options that aren't too crazy with the cleats, or have all the cleats that you want if you want more of a motocross setup. So those would definitely be my first 5 upgrades right off the bat. Crash bar, seat, handlebars, fairing, and pegs. And if you're not a fairing guy, I would definitely recommend at least swapping the factory headlight instead. If that's not your thing, that would be my 5th thing. So that's all the shit I got. Get out there and fucking rip. If you got a brand new bike, enjoy it. Definitely shop around, but that's just my opinion on the first 5 things you're probably gonna want to swap. Make sure you comment, like, let us know if you like this shit. I'll do more of these talking videos. If not, fucking let me know in the comments. I'll fuck off. So I'm gonna get out of here myself.